You're listening to Priceless Beauties podcast. Hey beautiful, Pamela Price here, makeup and spray tan artist, educator and owner of Priceless Beauty Studio, an international award-winning beauty business. But more importantly, I will be your host and cheerleader on this journey of self-love, self-awareness, and growth. Life didn't come with an instruction manual, and entrepreneurship can be a lonely and scary road at times. I am personally inviting you to join me on this brave adventure together while I chat with women just like you who open up and share their secrets about their business, their inspiration, and their stories. When we empower one another, great things happen. All right, babe, thanks so much for pressing play. Welcome back to the Priceless Beauties podcast. Today we have an amazing guest joining us, Lisa Andrea. She is a certified transformational life coach with over 41 years. You wouldn't know, she does not even look 41 years of experience navigating the high stakes world of data telecom sales for big enterprises and having thrived in, I guess, relentless environments, the corporate life. Lisa embarked in a new journey, channeling her expertise into coaching. So fast forward to 2022, you quit the corporate hustle and you really embraced your passion. So now you're 100% all in, dedicated to guiding women through intentional transformations, helping them and us craft lives we really, really love, both personally and professionally. So welcome, Lisa. Can you share just a little bit about yourself and how you transformed and how you made that leap from the corporate hustle into something that's more, I guess, heart aligned into, who you are and what you're passionate about right now?
Well, first of all, thank you, Pamela, for having me on the podcast. I so appreciate it. You're doing such a great job, and this is really helpful to a lot of women. So congratulations. Thank you for following your passion. I was in the telecom business, like I said, for a lot of years, and it came around October of 2018 that I was really, really stressed. There's a lot of stress with every month you have a certain quota, and it was very competitive. And I had gotten to a point where I was just so stressed that I even had a dentist that said, wait, your blood pressure is really high. You need to do something else. You need to quit. I mean, it gotten to the point where physically, because the stress of being somewhere that you don't want to be can physically manifest. And so I had to make a choice. I took 6 months sabbatical. I could afford the 6 months. And I thought, what am I going to do? And I thought about my mom. My mom was always such an inspiration that she helped all of her friends. She always listened to them. She helped them. When she passed away, a lot of them came and told me stories about what she had done for them. And I always loved helping people. I was that way with my friends. So I decided I'm going to help other women transform their lives because what I'm doing is transforming mine. And I wanted to take my mom's work to a higher level. So that's when I became a certified life coach. During that 6 months, I had several clients. I had to go back to work because I wasn't this magic age of 59 and a half where you can retire. And so I actually downgraded. It was a choice. I downgraded what I was doing in more of a support role. And even though I took less money, I was happier and I could also continue to pursue the life coach work. So I stayed working full time with a little bit of life coach on the side, right? Until December of 2022. And then I retired and I was all in. And while 2022 and 2023 were a bit challenging for me, what I had learned as a life coach on how to get over challenges, I call it my trifecta. I had retired, which you have to mourn losing. And I'll tell you, when you leave the corporate world after that much time, you have to mourn losing your corporate self, right? It's something that you have to do. I had a bout with breast cancer and I beat that in 2023. And then I also broke off a 12-year relationship. So that's my trifecta in 2023.
Wow.
And at the end, coming back stronger and deciding to really make my business a new name and at another level. And I've been doing that since towards the end of like the fourth quarter of 2022 until now. And I've changed the name to Ladies Who Leap. And that's where I got my inspiration, was really from my mom and my love of helping other women shine. I like to make them shine.
I love everything about that. Thank you so much. I think it's great that when you dig deep into something that really is part of you, your mom's story, your journey, all of it's really you, right? When you corporate, like you said, it was great. It challenged you. You made a good income, but obviously your body was literally telling you like, this is not working out anymore. And thank God you listened, because maybe where would you be if you didn't listen?
Right.
Like,
Right. I
what
mean,
would your
women
life look like?
even, yeah, I mean, or what physically would have happened.
Yes.
I had so much more to give. I definitely didn't want anything to happen to my body that would shorten that. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and for anybody listening who might be like, oh, they're back, rewind back to where you were. They're in that. Doesn't have to necessarily be corporate. Could be your own business. It could be anything. Could be a relationship. It could be so many different things that it's so important that we are aware and that we listen to our body, even if it's the dentist who tells us to listen. Maybe it's somebody else that's recognizing something that we are ignoring. That thank God that you made that transition, because I think a lot of people, it's scary. That must have been really scary to make
Yeah.
those
Yeah.
big decisions and to go through those.
The process. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think being aware is a big part of how women should listen to themselves, and getting a higher awareness of how you are, let's say, being in the world is
Mm.
really important. That's why you should also listen to the universe when it speaks to you, because when you do realize what your calling is, it's interesting. There are doors that open that you didn't even know would open for you. And there was a period towards the end of December of 2022 when I was getting back into the coaching, and I thought, gosh, there's something I'm missing with my clients. There's just something missing. And I put out there, okay, just bring me what is missing, universe, and I'm going to go with it. And I got a message on LinkedIn from someone. And when you're a life coach, just so you know, I'm sure entrepreneurs, everybody listening, you get these like salespeople on LinkedIn telling you they're going to make you millionaires and all this kind of stuff. And one came in that was much more subdued and really spoke to me. And so I reached out, made an appointment, spoke to a director at this company called Ingenesis, and she told me about this new being profile that was created in Australia. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is what I was missing for my clients. So I'm working on being only the second practitioner in the US. And if you want to hear about it, let me know. I can give you more
I do.
information.
I
Okay.
definitely, I'm
It is
intrigued.
so cool. I'm like very passionate about it because it was so cool. And it was like I said, the universe brought it to me. The idea is that it is 30, you take a profile questionnaire. Again, it's a snapshot in time. It's not like the Myers-Briggs profiles where it puts you in a box and you're like, that's what you are. That's how you have to deal with for the rest of your life. This is more 31 aspects of being, how you are being in the world, starting out with awareness, the three top ones, which are awareness, integrity, and effectiveness, and the other aspects and how they relate to each other, so that you can really take a snapshot of kind of like an x-ray in your brain of how your inner being is. How are you relating to other people? How they're relating to you? Are you relating with love or compassion or vulnerability in a healthy or an unhealthy way? And when you take the questionnaire, you have a debrief by someone like me who's a practitioner. We ask questions and relate things together, and it makes huge aha moments. Sometimes uncomfortable. Maybe sometimes it's things you don't want to face, but it really gives you a real, for me as a coach, a picture of this person's true being in the world. And the guy who created it, he was basically a kind of a parallel venture capitalist, programmer, philosopher from a young age. And his whole thing is he wants to create a better world for everyone, one person at a time. Because if you're more aware of who you are and how you relate to others and how others relate to you, and you're more aware of this, you will be better, kinder, more compassionate, more fulfilled in your life. It really is so important, and it really hit me, and I use it with all of my clients now. It's fantastic. Yeah.
That's amazing, because my next question was going to be, is like, okay, we all hear and know we need to be more aware. I said it. Fine. We agree. Everybody agrees. But then how? How do we get, how do we dig in there, and how do we bring that awareness to the light? So that is actually phenomenal that you have this tool that can be used as a framework to kind of get into those nitty-gritty areas that maybe are, tucked away in the closet, but
Yeah.
could be holding us back, could be causing us to self-sabotage, could be having us feel like imposters, all of those different things that if we just leave them in the closet, either we aren't aware, or we know they're there and we're ignoring them, and then no progress ever comes, and therefore less confidence, just all of the things, they are being blocked from making any movements forward towards fulfillment, success, happiness, whatever, all of those things that we all desire and want. So that's super exciting. And congrats to you for being open to reading through all those spams maybe that come into our inboxes, and then feeling in alignment with something and being willing to hear them out and then realize, actually, this is the perfect fit for me and my clients. So that's super exciting. And I would definitely, outside of this podcast, like to learn more about that for
Yeah.
myself.
Great. Because, when you're more aware, it's when you have a clear understanding of your impact on others and on the world around you. You're talking about higher purpose. That's actually one of the aspects is higher purpose. You become more self-aware, how you're perceived by others. You can't be coerced, or,
Mm,
there's no problem with people taking advantage of you. There's so many things of really having that awareness that has a huge impact on your life. Yeah. Yeah, the
yeah.
universe was talking to me, and make sure you listen when it does. There's a reason for that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, so true. Thank you for all of that information. That's really exciting for you and your clients. I'm sure that you've had lots of great aha moments as a result of implementing that new system, right?
Yeah, my clients have had a lot. Yeah, even in certain specific relationships that they didn't know how to deal with. And they went, whoa. And when they would say the powerful things, I record the 2 hour session. And I said, you need to, okay, let's put the time here. You need to re-listen to that because it was so powerful, and you need to digest it and actually take action, because it's something that's really affecting your life in a negative way. And you need to take action to change that. So yeah,
Okay.
it's been some amazing insight and
Yeah.
aha moments. Yeah.
That's interesting that you record that too, because I think sometimes in conversation, especially if it is a hard conversation that we're digging into, it's different to talk through it live than it is to look at it after and, like you said, digest and think about what that really means and why your response was that way. And so that's a great thing that you're doing too. I think that adds a lot of value, just to be able to revisit that information, because we can only
Yeah.
retain so much too, right?
Well, yeah, and that's why I actually record sessions with my client. Of course, it's private just for the two of us, but it helps me where I'm not sitting here writing notes, and looking down at a piece of paper, and instead really engaging and listening and talking to my client and getting them to open up and discover things about them that gets them unstuck, that makes them realize their goals and their dreams. Yeah.
Beautiful. I love that tip. Amazing. So I wanted to dig into something a little bit specific that I have personally struggled with, and I think everybody, correct me if I'm wrong, because you deal with a lot of people, but I feel like everybody, at least at one point or another, especially those women who are starting a business, who are deciding to make, a career change or a life change, and we're like, oh, I'm going to go do this new thing, but am I good enough? Am I a fraud? Imposter syndrome. So we're going to go into that a little bit more. So maybe you guys listening have never heard of this, or maybe this is kind of like a buzzword that's been going around. Can you kind of enlighten us on what is imposter syndrome really? What does it mean, especially for those women like in business, like you and myself, and how can it really, like, how does that impact us?
Well, first of all, let's just talk about what the meaning is. You're right. It's the
Yeah.
condition of feeling anxious and not experiencing success internally. So you don't believe, even though you may be successful, high performing, you may be great at your job, great at your business, but you don't believe it, and you feel like a phony or a fraud. And so you say, well, why would anybody want to listen to me? Why would I be successful? What? Oh my goodness, I'm not really that good. I don't feel that I'm good. In fact, they may even think that all their accomplishments are because of good luck. rather than their own abilities. It's interesting because a lot of people are like, oh, I was in the right place at the right time. No, you were actually really good at what you do. You're very confident. You're very successful. You took that step. So give yourself a win. Celebrate what that win is and really, again, digest it and internalize it and share it with the world. I like to tell people when you're feeling that way, and you have a win, whatever it is, share it on things like the professional network, LinkedIn, and give the reason why you made that accomplishment, because it's not only sharing that it happened, but that what your skills are that you might not feel so confident about, what it is that truly you did to accomplish that goal. And so now you're proving to the world that you are. So hopefully it's making you feel a lot better for yourself, right? Showing the world that you're an expert and good at what you do also is about convincing yourself. And remember, women feel this way because of what we've gone through, the biases, the inequity in our pay, the inequity in job titles, not being listened to in a lot of circumstances. It's something, I mean, 54% of women experience imposter syndrome, whereas only 38% of men. And I'll tell you, that's an improvement, because when I was younger, imposter syndrome was well into the 60s, maybe even higher for women. So your younger generation, have really come a long way, but there's still a lot more to go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I bet those stats are not true too. Like, I bet you at least, I would say 100% of women at one point or another have felt like questioned themselves or wondered if they were good enough or second guessed their decision or whatever. So I know they have to do stats, in a way where they actually poll people, but just working with women, and because the type of service that I do, where I'm one-on-one talking to women face to face for an hour, I realized this awful state that most of us are in, where we actually don't feel confident, we don't feel beautiful, and we don't feel good enough, and then it comes out in all these different ways, right? So it's actually really sad. It's really sad that I know everybody has these fears and doubts, and it shows up in imposter syndrome and various other aspects of our life, right?
Yeah, like even Michelle Obama. There was a quote that I read. I don't have it in front of me, but she was saying, yeah, she's felt imposter syndrome. I mean, someone that's successful, understanding that it's none of us are going to be
Right.
able to get where they never have that experience. Shoot, coming on your podcast, I was like, well, what am I going to tell women that are going to help them? You get that feeling, and you have to literally put it away, because you have to just understand and keep thinking that you are good at what you do. You reached the pinnacle or wherever you're at in your life because of yourself. You have to give yourself credit for what you've done. And also, it helps when other women lift each other up. I think something that's really important is that we need to have this sisterhood of allowing and helping other women, our friends, our colleagues, shine. Because if we don't support each other, this is going to get worse for us. We are all in the same boat, and we have enough things to deal with just as women in society than to put this on top of ourselves,
Right.
another thing on top. So if we do support each other, it really, really helps. I think that that's super helpful. And if you are around people that are not making you shine, then you have to make decisions about getting them out of your life. You have to look at, who is your support system? Who are your friends? Who are the right people that are your mentors, that they are there to help you and to make you feel good about yourself, and not the opposite way.
Yeah, that's so, so true. I remember a season in my life where I was making a lot of transitions from partying and kind of just being irresponsible to, focusing on my spirituality, digging into growing my business. I had a child, and I felt like I had nobody. And
Yeah.
even as an entrepreneur, it sometimes feels like we have nobody. It's a part of the reason why I created this podcast, because I want people to realize that we all feel this way, right? We all feel this way. We don't always show it. We show our highlight reels on Instagram and how great things are going. But if we are being honest, things don't always go perfect. And our thought processes aren't always rainbows and butterflies. We all have these like kind of limiting beliefs. And I think it's great that several years ago, a life coach or a business coach or a finance, none of that wasn't a thing. At least I didn't know where to find
Exactly.
anybody that would understand and support me and help guide me through certain things. And there was maybe a doctor or a therapist or something, but that's not the same. That's not the
Mm-hmm.
same as a coach, right?
Yeah.
So it's
So we're here.
fantastic.
Yeah, and I always think that way too. I thought, oh my gosh, if I had a life coach when I was in my 30s, that would have been amazing, because we're here to give you tools. Like one of the mindset, changing your mindset hack that I like to use is you take a piece of paper and draw a line in the middle. And on the left side, really think about the negative thoughts that you say to yourself. What are those statements, those negative statements? And it really leads to imposter syndrome and your negative thoughts. Write them down on the left side, and then take the time to write the exact opposite statement, a positive, more forward looking statement, because a lot of negative statements have to do with I'm not good enough, I don't like how I look, I don't think I can do this job. And then you go to the forward looking statement about, let's say, I don't like how I look. The forward looking statement would be, I really have thick, beautiful hair and I always get compliments. Or I can't really do this job. The forward looking statement would be, I can find myself a job that I love and I know that I can achieve that goal. So it's about changing how you look at each of those statements, because remember, your beliefs, which are those statements, came from something that happened in your life, usually back in your childhood. And it is good with a life coach to find what the root of that is.
Mm-hmm.
And then putting that where you overcome it. I mean, there's a lot of like, I don't know if you know about NLP, neuro linguistic programming. It's reprogramming your brain and your subconscious through language and different ways. There's very formal ways of getting rid of those, what we call baggage, but there's also ways to talk through it with a life coach too, and to do certain other techniques and reframe how you think about those negative thoughts, reframe them to positive, and then take that positive side and say them every day, or write them down in a journal. Write about each one and really delve into it. Was there somebody that told me I was ugly when I was young? Was there somebody that told me I couldn't do this job? And what was their intention of doing that? Because obviously you don't want someone in your life that says that to you. They weren't uplifting you. So think about, maybe they had their own purpose to say that. Maybe they wanted to bring you down, and you really internalized that, and it became a belief, and now it's turned into thinking negatively about yourself. So
It's
you have
crazy.
reframing is a big deal. Yeah. And I do
It's
it. I'm telling you, I'm not perfect. There is no way, even as life coaches, that we go through life all beautiful and roses. It is something we use on ourselves, because when I write in my journal every day, being grateful and writing what you're grateful for, that
mm-hmm.
also keeps a positive mindset. Even it's the smallest things that you're grateful for. Little things like even making your bed every day, just starting your day. I start my day with gratitude. I end my day with gratitude, writing it in a journal. And I kind of like life coach myself in my journal, because I talk about, okay, what did I do? Was it positive? What do I need to do tomorrow? I even ask myself questions in my journal. Kind of sounds funny, but it's actually really helpful.
Yeah, I was my husband is an insurance broker, and we were invited to a real estate gala this weekend, and there was a motivational speaker there. Her name, I can't remember her last name, but her first name was Storm, and I can't forget that. And she put on a little clip from Steve Harvey, and he did this really great visual where he said our brain is like a factory. And on one side of the, have you seen this?
No,
One,
but I can
okay.
only imagine what he's going to
I
say.
love
Yeah.
Steve Harvey. And one side of the factory is like, uh, you know, 100 workers on one side, and it's the negative side. And one side is the positive workers, and they work on this side. And when you wake up in the morning, you stub your toe, and then you fall out of bed, and then you realize you're late for work, and then you say to the negative factory worker, you're just like, okay, I fell out of bed, I stubbed my toe. This is going to be a really shitty day. And then all those workers on the negative side start to working and thinking and creating thoughts and actions, and then all of a sudden you have a shit day. You're attracting it. You're thinking about all those negative things on repeat that keeps coming up to you, and then you don't realize how it's just bringing you down. It's attracting these negative situations. It's not allowing you to make progress. There's definitely no gratitude happening in there, definitely not, versus starting that day with gratitude, starting that day with a positive note, and getting those little factory workers our faculties in our brain, right, working and moving momentum towards that
There's
more
an actual
positive.
reason. Yeah, there's an actual
Yes.
reason. He's giving you kind of a nice way of talking about our subconscious and our conscious in our brain, because our
Yes.
subconscious stores all these memories that create these negative feelings. And when you, let's say you drop something, right? You know this has happened. You've dropped it a couple times and then you go, "Oh, I keep dropping things." You will continue, if you notice, dropping things all day long because it's in your subconscious. Your subconscious goes, "Oh, okay, so we're supposed to drop things all day long." It's difficult to do in the real time, but when you have like even computer problems, you can go, "Oh, it's going to be a computer problem kind of day." No, it's not. It is going to be a great day. You are happy you're alive. You are happy you have the people you have in your life. You're happy about your dog or your cat or your home or your bed, whatever it is, even little things just switches that light. Like he said, it switches the side of your brain that you're thinking, and you don't think negatively, because what you think about is what you experience. If you think positive and you think gratitude and you think forgiveness and love and compassion and kindness, that will come into your life as you think
Mm-hmm.
about it, because
Mm-hmm.
what you think of is what comes into your life. So
Yes.
important. Not the easiest thing to do all the time, but to remember that, again, being aware when you say those negative things is a good
Yes.
step. Yeah.
Yes. And I keep hearing this over and over. And my husband keeps like, we're just like, why we keep hearing this message over and over when you literally just said it. What you think about is what you become.
Mm-hmm.
And it just keeps, this message just keeps like boom, boom. Like this is the universe talking to me right now. Keep saying this message over and over. And it's so interesting because we were never taught this in school. Like,
No,
why weren't we taught this in school?
I
We
know.
have power.
Why weren't we taught about our brain? I mean, something that we're going to deal with for our entire life that has such an impact. How does your brain work? Why wouldn't that be something that they teach people? I mean, when I went in for my mastectomy, I literally for 2 months before believed that it was just going to be a blip. I was going to get through it. It was going to be a blip in my life. I'm going to have to deal with it, but everything was going to be fine. And I probably will learn some lessons from it. And I believed it so strongly. All the doctors were like, "Gosh, you're so positive." And all my friends, "Wow, you're so positive." And when I went in for the mastectomy, it was just that. I
Wow.
believed to succeed. I call it believe to succeed. So I believed that I would succeed through this and get through it. And I mean, I did have probably one of the best diagnoses. And so I was very grateful for that. Another thing I was super grateful for, but it was, 6 months of my life and a couple surgeries and all that kind of stuff. But I believed that I was going to get through it. And it
Mm-hmm.
did. I did get through it. And it was just like I said, pretty much kind of a blip in my life. And I got over that bump. Yeah.
Wow. That is so powerful. Thank you so much for sharing that. Oh, wow. So much great information. I just love your energy. I'm so grateful that you were able to join us today.
Thank
You've
you.
shared a couple, really, I've been writing some like little notes here, giving me some info about just all kinds of things. So thank you for those insights. But I always like to ask, do you have a favorite quote, affirmation, or mantra that you are living by? I don't know if you've already shared it because you shared some good ones already, but
No, I have a couple. I have a couple that I've written, and the first one is about confidence, right? So remember that confidence is knowing that nothing you do will ruin everything, but doing nothing will ruin your confidence.
yes, so
And
true.
then, yeah, and then the other one is you cannot know what you're able to achieve until you conquer the fears that don't allow you to try.
Hmm. I
So
love both
if
of
you need
those.
help, that's when you get help. Like, because I have coaches, I'm a coach, I have coaches, I even have my therapist also. And then one of the affirmations I think everyone that's an entrepreneur would appreciate is, and I got this from a friend Shelley Campbell, if you want to check her out, she's a financial stress reduction coach, which is amazing. She's written several books. I do have them on my website when I give it to you, reference to. But she said one of them is, "People love to give me money."
Yes,
And just
girl.
something simple like that. That's one of the affirmations that I say every day. But yeah, people love to give me money.
I love that. I had this really awful songs. Well, it's not so awful, but they were like they were created in the 80s. So when you listen to them now, they're kind of tacky, but it was a song made from affirmations put into a song on Bob Proctor's DVD or CD album that I had in my car for a while there when I used to have CDs in the car. I don't have them anymore. And she would sing, I am a magnet to money. And she just sang it on repeat over and over. It goes on like that, but it was so lame, but I could not get that out of my head. And it's like the same thing, just like, I am a magnet to money. I'm a magnet to money. And money isn't all important, but money is a tool and money helps us. And so ultimately, it's a great energy as well. So I love that affirmation.
I am a magnet to money. I now have more than I need. I am a magnet to money. Money loves me.
Yeah.
So funny. Was there anything else that you wanted to share, just where we are on here together, that might be helpful for anybody listening who's maybe going through a rough time or just kind of like stuck knowing that they need to make a change, but they're not sure just where to begin?
Well, the first thing I can say is, look, I'm 61. It took me a while to learn how to step out of my comfort zone and to find my purpose and my calling. And remember, it's never too late. As you know, a lot of people, Oprah at 40, I mean, there are a lot of people, whatever age group that you have, the entrepreneurs, if you're looking to make a change, now is the time, and take the first step. Because all of a sudden, and you've seen that picture of that ladder, each step taken each day, in a month or two, you'll look back and go, wow, look at how much I've accomplished. And it just started with that first step.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So the clarity, I guess, on what that is.
Yes.
The decision, then you got to make the decision.
Yeah, that's a whole
Then you got to take action.
Yeah, and part of that process, I have a what I call a dream process, and I'll give you a page that I have. Can I share that? I'll share that.
Yes, please.
Ladies Who Leap, because my business is Ladies Who Leap. So it's ladieswholeap.com/dream. And it's 5 steps to find your purpose, and which would also help you find your goals in life. And I'm going to turn those into a workshop at some point coming up, because I think that's so important, because when you do what you love, time passes and life is just so much happier and full of joy. So if that's a goal for you, you want to dream, give yourself permission and go to that page and check out that information. Also, how to join Ladies Who Leap Club, which is a Facebook group and support group and inspirational group. I am starting my own podcast. So Pamela, maybe we'll have to talk about you joining and coming on mine.
Sure.
Ladies Who Leap podcast. Yeah. And then if you want to reach me on social media, I'm Lisa A. Coach on social media.
Beautiful. I will definitely extract all of that info for anybody who's maybe listening on the go or watching on the go. I will totally pull all of those links for you guys, so it's just easy to find later. Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining. It was such a pleasure. And next time I'm in California, maybe I'll grab a tea with you or something.
Yes, please. I would love that. Thank you so much, Pamela, for having me on. This was a lot of fun. You know, you feel like, what am I going to share? And you get nervous and you get excited. And this was much more enjoyable even than I imagined. So thank you so much.
Great. Okay, thanks, Lisa. Have a great rest of your day. And thank you, everybody who is listening. I hope that if you have interest in knowing more about Lisa, or if you were thinking about maybe digging deeper into doing a transformation in your life, or you just wanted to talk with her, that you reach out to her. I personally have worked with coaches in the past. This year, I invested in a finance coach as well as a business coach as well. And they really helped me to get into the areas that I really just felt like I was stuck at. And I needed a little accountability and a second set of eyes in order to move the needle forward and feel more confident in what I was doing. Because I launched a course this year for beauty business professionals, and there's just no way I would have done it without my coach. So sometimes we just need a partner to help us bridge that gap, to make that transition, to have the confidence. Sometimes it's also resources, like you have all these different resources that you provide. So depending on where you are in your life and your business, Lisa just might be the one to help you bridge that gap. So thank you, Lisa. And I just know somebody that's listening today will be like, yep, it's Lisa. I have to talk to her. I just felt like I had to talk to her. So I'm really excited that you reached out, and I'm so happy that we got to meet virtually. And thank you again for coming on. And thank you everybody who listened and watched our episode today.
Thank you.
Hey there, fellow beauty enthusiast. Are you a solo entrepreneur ready to take your beauty business to new heights? Maybe you're balancing a full-time gig while still trying to grow your beauty business. Or perhaps you've mastered your artistry but find yourself stumbling in the realms of marketing and social media and all of the behind-the-scenes aspects. Let's face it, we were not prepared for what it truly takes to grow and sustain our business in beauty school. And times are changing. We need to get serious about what this means. If you're passionate about serving your clients and 2024 is your year to stand on business, then the Business of Beauty course could be that piece of the puzzle that you've been missing. Whether you're dreaming of making your side hustle a main gig or aiming to finally smash that 6-figure mark, it's time to take action. Get ready to really start working on your business and not just in it. Get crystal clear on the changes needed to propel your passion into profit. Picture this, the Business of Beauty, a 6-week program diving into the pillars of running a successful business, from marketing strategies and social media mastery to behind the scenes processes, automation, lead generation, and customer retention. We've got you covered. Wondering if it works? Well, I started doing makeup out of my basement as a side hustle, and I now have over 15 ladies working for me, and we have a thriving multi-6-figure beauty business with over 200 5-star reviews. Now, I want to share the insider knowledge that I've gained, everything from starting from scratch, optimizing your business for success. It's about saving you time and money while finding fulfillment in your work and fast tracking your journey to success. Ready to dive in? Click the link in our show notes and join the waitlist for our next cohort, the Business of Beauty course, because your dreams are worth the investment. Let's make them a reality together. Hey girl, thank you so much for hanging out with us today. If you enjoyed this episode, please share a positive 5-star review. And as a thank you for your love and energy, my team will send you a free copy of my social media content and goal planner. Please screenshot it and email it to info@priceless-beauty.com so we can get that to you right away. Until next time, let's stay connected on IG. Come say hello at Priceless Beautygram. And don't forget, you are worthy and capable of achieving anything your heart desires.